Have you wondered what happens when you provide your username and password to log in portal.azure.com or enter.microsoft.com, where your username and password goes, and how this entire workflow works? And most important, because of any reason, if the users are unable to complete multi-factor authentication, maybe the phone is not available with them, how we will get to know what happened to that place, how these tokens got created. Do we have any way through which we can go and capture everything and understand? Yes, we do have. My name is Vimal Singh, and in this particular video, we will explore how we can capture all this information and analyze it to do the troubleshooting if any user fails to perform authentication. So let's get started. Okay, you can see here, I have already installed this Fiddler, and that is Fiddler Anywhere. We are getting two different Fiddlers. Let me show you by taking to their website. That's their official website. If you'll go to this place to download this Fiddler, it offers you two-way. Either you can go with Fiddler Classic or you can go with this Fiddler Anywhere. This is the latest one. They have improved a lot of things, but still there are few things which is still works better in a classic mode. So it depends what exactly your requirement is, and on the basis of that you can download. Downloading is very simple. You need to click on Try Fiddler Anywhere, and that will immediately start downloading this. Once it is downloaded, you will find their exe installer on Windows operating system. As you can see, we have already downloaded and triggered that installation. The moment your installation gets complete, it asks you for registration, where you need to either go with the account that you created on Fiddler, or you can go with Google account to log in on this Fiddler. It offers 10 days trial that you can use to test this application and then buy the product. Currently, I'm going to demonstrate the thing with the trial version. So launch this Fiddler, you need to double click on the icon, or you can also do it from the start button. Once we logged in, here you can see it shows you, hey, your trial expires in 8 days. I have already spent 2 days, so I'm getting 8 days remaining out of 10 days. And just next to this buy now, you can buy it from there. As you can see, this AI got integrated at this place, which is fine. And now to start this, here you can see in the left hand side, we have this traffic option, and from there we can do it. But before going there, let's see from the home page what exactly it offers you. You got your account detail, connect remote devices, terminal, set system proxy. All these instructions are there to inspect the traffic. We can explore. For example, if I'll go to this open clean browser, click here, let's open the browser, and it will take you to the fresh and clean browser. From there, you can start capturing all the traffics, and you can see the traffics are coming to this place. One more thing that you need to notice, there you can see by default, this HTTPS capturing is disabled. So it will only capture the HTTP traffic. If you want to enable this, click on this enable now, and it will enable your capturing of HTTPS traffic also. But for that, it will install a CS certificate that you need to trust that is coming from the Fiddler side. Again, that's a altogether different approach how this communication take place, how it establishes a secure connection after installing this certificate, how the traffic will go to my destination. That information you can collect from Fiddler side also. Let's turn it on. Here you can see it has asked you to get this certificate. So you're about to install the certificate from a certification authority claiming to represent Fiddler root certificate authority. You need to say yes. And now you can see this CA certificate was trusted and HTTPS capturing was enabled successfully. Perfect. Now let's clean everything from here, and there is a button to clean it. Now once again, I'll go to this home button, and I'm going to open a clean browser. Automatically, your browsers are designed to set this Fiddler as a proxy. And now you can see, because we have enabled this HTTPS traffic, we are getting this. Earlier, we were getting that error message. Let's start. For example, I want to access any of the Microsoft website. For example, going with security.microsoft.com. Now here it is asking you for sign in. So I'll provide my credential here. Let's put the password and sign in. Now I signed in successfully on my application. Let it be. Let's close this and come back to the Fiddler. Here you can see it has captured all the traffic, and whatever the communication is happening between your browser to the service, everything will get captured, either it's HTTP or HTTPS, and you will get huge amount of traffic, which will be really difficult to capture and monitor or test. So what you can do, here we are getting this filter option. You need to go to that place and decide what filtering, what particular traffic you would like to monitor. It depends on your requirement. You can define the location or the address, whatever you want to monitor. Either you can do it from here, or if you can go to this place, there you can have filter option either for URL or the client HTTP version or you have other responses also, only the particular response or only particular methods you want to check, you can do it from here. So let's go and do it from directly at this place. As we know, whenever we are performing authentication with Microsoft, it goes with HTTPS. I mean, for authentication, it goes to HTTPS login.microsoftonline.com. Let's search for this address only, apply it, and there we got all the traffic going towards that. We got a status 200 means success. Let's explore the detail and see what exactly happened at this place. So if I click to this particular place, that the first overview page tells you how this entire HTTP traffic session got created. So you can see here, this is the address, protocol used this, session stage was closed. And here we are getting this complete detail, when the request began, what happened, all this traffic. This is good to know how actually it works. What are the request detail was, what was the method, from which IP address, what was the remote IP address, and which TLS version has been used. And the response which you got from the server side that we are also getting. Now to get the more detail, you need to go to this place, inspectors. And from here, you will find what request has been made and what response you have received. And we have multiple way to explore this in a response. If you go to the body side, there it provides you the visibility in a text format. As you can see, you have sent this username called this, display name was this, and other details. Similarly, you can fetch those information in JSON, Hexa, message pack, XML, and JavaScript also. These are the default that we are getting. JSON is really easy because it comes in a key pair value, so it would be simple to understand, easy to understand. Not only this, here we are getting this rule option. So here the Fiddler has created some rules that you can trigger for your traffic filtering, like anything that you want to allow or block in this, that you can do it from here. Or if you want to do the filtering, you can do it directly from here instead of going manually. So filtering would take place from this particular place. And here you can see this option to create this. Once it is created, you can turn it on by clicking on this particular, or you can just click here to execute in this particular session. Depends on your requirement. You can use this rule in an automated approach. Now let's come back to the inspector and try to explore the information about it. So once again, we'll go to body, and there under the JSON, we can find the information. We have provided this detail, and this is the response we are getting. Banner logo we have received, title logo we have received, dark logo, illustration, and so on. This is the token that we have received, and we got that detail. If I'll go to the next part of it, we'll fetch those information and so on, all the details related to it. Now let's try to troubleshoot one thing. For example, with multi-factor authentication. What if I'm sending the request to log in with multi-factor authentication and the user is not able to validate through MFA because the phone was not available and somehow he failed to do this multi-factor authentication? So can we capture those information in this or not? So for that, let's clean this one, close this session. And first let me check which and where I'll get this MFA. Let me configure it. Entra.microsoft.com. These are the critical administrative place where MFA is being forced by Microsoft. So I'll first enable multi-factor authentication at this place. Next. Okay, so I have enabled multi-factor authentication for my Entra ID access. Let's close it. Go back to Fiddler once again. Well, let me cancel this. Let's explore from here. So while enabling this multi-factor authentication, the request went to this loginmicrosoft.com. Let's see what happened at this place. So if I'll go and try to read this first information, it says, okay, that's the XML document, which is fine. There we go. It'll say token type barrier, scope is Microsoft Core Windows, impersonation, stp management.core.windows.default. Okay, so here you can see what has been sent while configuring this multi-factor authentication because user was already signed in. So from the request header, you can see it has sent to this https entra.microsoft.com. The content type was this was the agent, https, and authority was logon.microsoft.com, and request was post. And then the response we received like this. And here you can see the first is token type barrier. And this tells you how the token should be used. The barrier means what? Whoever holds this token can access this API. When calling Azure API, you send it like this. Then the second line that you can see is scope. It's management.core.windows.net. Basically, Azure Resource Manager. And then you have user underscore impersonation. app is acting on behalf of the signed in user because user was already logged in. So in short, the token can manage Azure resource as the logged in user. And this is what we saw. We just came to entra.microsoft.com where this user was already logged into this particular place. That is the reason user impersonation happen. Now, the next point that you can see is expires in 4832. So that's basically token validity. And the number that you see is in seconds. So almost 4832 means 80 minutes. After that time, the token will become invalid. And you can see the expiry date is what? 4832 only. That's basically extended expiry date, extended expiry time. So you can consider it generally the same timing we are getting for expiry and extended expiry unless the token is not being reissued by Microsoft. And then we are getting this access token. So this long string which we see here at this place, it's basically JWT, JSON Web Token. And it contains the complete information like who you are, what is your tenant ID, what is your application ID, what is your token expiry, issuer, scope, signature, and everything. This token is really sensitive one. And anyone who gets this can act as you in Azure until it expires. So we have collected this information from here. Now, if I'll go to the next part of it, and there you can see this is basically an OAuth token, comes with the same one. Like the first one, as you can see, bearer token is similar like the previous one. And then a scope that you can see is defined here. You get this graph.microsoft.com organizational read all, and similarly application configuration, read write. There you're getting read for the user and all this. And this particular part, the scope open ID is basically confirms that user is authenticated now. Similarly, this particular token has their own expiry date and time, and accordingly, their expiry will work around 78 minutes at this place. Now, let's test what happens when we go for MFA authentication and if MFA gets failed. So let me clean this for now. Go to home and let's open a clean browser. And once again, I'm going with maybe portal.azure.com. Let's try to log in with the same user. So this time there won't be any user impersonation. Now let's put the password. And now here it is asking for multi-factor authentication. This time I'm going to allow, and later we'll check it out by disabling it. Means user will fail to validate this. Right now, I just allowed it. And let's go and check what it has captured from the Fiddler. So if I'll go back, you can see there are many HTTP, and let me talk about only post request. It will be easy instead of, okay. And there you can see the first request, the user has provided the username and password, and we are getting this complete detail, what you have received as a response. Now, if I'll go to next one, this one is the important and bigger information that you get once you start authentication. Basically, it provides you the sign-in user interface, and this appears when the user has successfully authenticated. So if I go to the top, as you can see here, package ID content is KMSI interrupt. KMSI stands for keep me signed in, and that is the keep me signed in interrupt page. So if you can put this entire information in a big picture, what exactly it provides you, like how that user signs in, either with password or multi-factor authentication was validated or not. And then the keep me sign in page tells you where you are. Then the session cookies, how it has been issued, token, how it is issued, and redirection back to the application. In our case, it would be Azure portal. Slowly, if you'll go down, see this line number 7, and it tells you the title is what? Sign in to Microsoft Azure. And that was the complete information related to this. Then if you see the second one, so here you can see the URL was login.microsoft.com. Here you can see what username has been posted. Then we got this flow token. And this is very important. That's basically internal ID token that tracks the authentication flow state, multi-factor authentication completion or not. This is not an access token. And that proves basically that user has passed all the checks so far. And now this is about the branding where you can see what was the text on the domain, how keep me sign in is disabled or not, transparent light box was there or not. All this branding related information, you can find it from here. Now there you can see redirect URL where it has redirected, is a redirect URL, where it has redirected, what is the session time, all this detail that you can find it. And these informations are really important one. when it comes to the troubleshooting, you can find all this information, detailed information, how that workflow worked. There you can find the server details, client events that we expanded. So here you can see what exactly we are getting. SaaS began authentication, and there you will get the information about authentication method. So success was true, result value success, and the authentication method ID that you can see, that was phone app notification. Error code 0, it means in first attempt that got succeeded and the token got issued. So that is begun authentication. Now, if I'll go to this process authentication, you can find all the details related this, what process happened at this place, then so on, all the details, what was the username, what is that token, and the banner logo and other information, the way we got it for the previous one. Okay, so let's do testing by making your phone unreachable. What happens if multi-factor authentication is enabled for the account, user is trying to log in, but unfortunately phone is not reachable. Let's try with that. Then how this Fiddler will tell you, that part we are going to explore. So we have started again clean browser. And let me make my phone unreachable. Okay, I just kept my phone in a flight mode. And once again, I'm trying portal.azure.com. Now my user detail, password, and our multi-factor authentication. Let's see what it does. We got this get credential, then login details, keep me sign in. And there we got this barrier token. Now the SaaS has begun with this phone app notification. And here you can see the result type is what? User authentication failed, duplication request. User authentication failed, duplication request. And this error code is 500121. Okay, so the meaning of this 500121 is what? It's not basically a wrong password or not that user is rejecting this multi-factor authentication push notification. It is basically token community problem. And how can you check it out? If I'll go to my browser, somehow we're getting this, we are having trouble verifying your account, please try again. Here, maybe I tried multiple times in the same browser and that's the reason I'm getting this. This could be one of the reason as per this 500121, and it is not retrying it. Let me go to this place and click on, and I got this once again request to my user. Now let's come back and see what happens. So again, this authentication has begun. And this time it says, okay, result type is success, phone app authentication, error code is 0, retry is fail. Okay, as you can see, the user failed to respond. Now see what we're getting at this place. So if I'll go and filter it out instead of just post, clear it. And now you can see it has tried multiple times after that. So if I'll go to this place, you can see it has started authentication pending, authentication pending, authentication pending. And let's scroll it down. At last, you can see authentication pending, authentication pending. And there we go. The final result, phone app, no response. There's no message. And we are getting this information. Explore that error message. It clearly tells, okay, hey, the user has failed to do that. And we are getting this actual message here. So it's not about, in this demonstration, we just talked about towards Microsoft and their authentication to understand how this entire flow works. So it's very simple that any of the place, any of the URL that you want to monitor and their entire workflow, you can do it easily with this Fiddler. And that helps you really a lot when it comes to troubleshooting where actually the error is. Okay, so I hope you got an idea how actually we can use Fiddler service to identify and explore the information related to this authentication. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. See you in next.